If you've ever heard of Dudley Town, Connecticut, then you already know it's not your average hiking spot. Locals whisper about it, calling it cursed, haunted, even abandoned for a reason. Some say it was once a thriving settlement back in the 1700s, but it collapsed under a strange streak of madness, suicides, and disappearances. Today, it's nothing but overgrown foundations and miles of dense forest. And that's where our narrator decided to go. Alone. He wasn't a ghost hunter, not even really a believer in the paranormal, just an outdoorsman, a guy who liked testing himself against the wilderness. But the thing about Dudley Town Forest is that the deeper you walk, the quieter it gets. No birdsong, no rustling of squirrels, just silence. He'd been walking for about 40 minutes when he first noticed it, the stillness pressing in around him. At /836, he paused, realizing he couldn't hear the crunch of his own boots anymore, just a heavy silence. That's when the wailing began. At first, it was faint, a low, stretched out cry drifting through the trees. He froze, thinking maybe it was an injured animal. But then, the sound rose higher, fuller, until it didn't sound like an animal at all. It sounded human, like someone in pain, crying out in the distance. His first instinct was to go help. Someone could be hurt. But the way the sound moved, one moment far, the next closer, felt unnatural. By /1021, his nerves were on edge. He unclipped his flashlight, even though it was still daylight, and scanned the forest. Nothing. No figure, no movement, just thick stand of pine and oak. He shook it off and decided to follow his trail back. He'd marked trees with strips of orange tape earlier, just to keep himself safe in a maze of trails. But as he turned, he noticed something strange. His trail markers had been shifted. At first, he thought he'd made a mistake. But no, he knew where he'd placed them. Now they formed a new path, veering off from his original route. Someone, asterisk or something asterisk, had moved them. Still, curiosity got the better of him. Against his better judgment, he followed. The new markers led deeper into the woods, away from the foundations of the old town ruins. The ground sloped downward, uneven and rocky. His breathing quickened, not just from the climb, but from the sense that he was being led somewhere. Not lost, not random, but guided. At /1240, he found himself standing at the mouth of a cave. It was nothing large, just a jagged opening between two boulders, black inside, like an open wound. The wailing sound swelled again, this time echoing out of the darkness itself. Every hair on his body stood on end. He thought of all the legends he'd heard. That Dudley Town was cursed, that strange hermits and recluses lived in its woods, that the silence meant the land itself was unnatural. His rational brain screamed leave, but his body stayed rooted to the spot. Then he heard it. Footsteps. Not from behind him, not from the woods, from inside the cave. Slow, careful, deliberate. He stumbled back, heart pounding, flashlight beam shaking across the rocks. He called out, "Hello? Do you need help?" No answer, just the sound of those footsteps coming closer. Then silence again. That's when he realized what was happening. Whoever, or whatever, was inside the cave had been luring him there. The wailing hadn't been random. It had been bait. He wasn't supposed to stumble across this place. He'd been led there. At /1410, he turned and bolted. Branches whipped at his face. Roots snagged at his boots. But adrenaline carried him forward. He didn't care about his trail markers anymore. He ran blind, just wanted to put as much distance as possible between himself and that cave. Behind him, he swore he heard the sound of movement. Someone crashing through the underbrush, following, but he didn't dare look back. Minutes later, gasping for air, he broke through a clearing and saw the faint shimmer of a road through the trees. Relief washed over him. He sprinted toward it, not stopping until his feet hit pavement. When he finally looked back, the forest was silent again. Empty. Later, when he told his story, people shrugged it off. Probably just a hermit, they said. Someone's freak messing with you. But the way those trail markers had been rearranged, the way that wailing shifted closer and closer, he couldn't shake the feeling that it wasn't just some random hermit. It was a trap, and he'd barely escaped it. Some places carry stories that don't fade with time. Dudley Town is one of them. Whether you believe in curses, ghosts, or just the danger of strangers in the woods, one thing is certain. Sometimes the forest is watching you, and sometimes it wants you to follow. If you enjoyed this chilling true story, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more real-life horror stories every day. Until next time, stay safe, and whatever you do, don't follow the sound in the woods.